Hello and welcome to the M&M show. This Father's Day special. Hope everyone's all well. So today I thought we do a special, and because I know it can be a tough day for us men on Father's Day, especially for the guys who've lost a father and who are longing to be a dad. So we're just gonna have these conversation today, and hopefully we'll have a few people join in. Just gonna add the boys a sec. So just send an invite to Gareth Lanley and Frank Farland, the panel today. I hope everyone's having a nice day. And like I done my Insta lives earlier, keep busy guys today, and everything should work out. Just waiting for the boys to come through. As if you accept the invite. This is a part I had waiting to see if they come through, but hopefully they should. I've just been speaking to them. We have a WhatsApp group, and tell a few stories on it. So people who haven't been watching the M&M shows about panel of guys just opening up about their emotions, sharing their fertility journeys, talking about mental health, just letting the guys know that they're not alone, and we just out to break the stigma. I just hope they can jump on today. Bit of an issue at the second. Maybe it's the signal. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. How are you, Frank? Can you hear me?
Yeah, not too bad. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, good. I'm waiting for Gareth to jump on.
I'm on hands free.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Hot enough for you?
Hey, hot enough. Yeah, I've just been swimming as well, which wasn't in a hot, humid swimming pool, so it didn't really help.
Yeah.
Still got sunshine over near you, have you?
It's boiling. Looks like we're gonna have a thunderstorm this evening, I think.
Yeah. Needed.
Yeah, much needed. Nice little break, mate, today.
100%. Can't imagine Gareth running around doing bloody half marathon in this.
I'm sending Gareth an invite, but he's not accepting it, so I don't know what's going on with him.
He said he's just making a cup of tea. I think you've got to cut him some slack, having just done a half marathon. Should be able to hydrate, shouldn't he?
I'll kick it off, and just want to check in anyway, but how are you on Father's Day?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a... I'm all right. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one. I feel like I'm a bit of a reflector, so I feel like I overthink things quite a lot sometimes. So it's my first Father's Day, which chuffed about. Twins 10 months old. This time last year, we would have been, or Frankie would have been pregnant, but the year before that would have been very much when we had been trying to conceive for some time. So I'm just well aware of obviously different people going through different situations. So, I mean, one, I'll get Father's Day for me is just a crazy thing that the market employ. Like, they just want you to spend more money, didn't they? Because ultimately you should be celebrating these things 365 days a year, not just one. But then also, I'm just well aware of other people in different situations. So for me, it's just a day which I don't want to bang on too much about or anything like that. And it's been a normal day for me. nothing any different. I had a cup of coffee in bed, and that's about it.
It's different for everyone, mate. And like we spoke in the WhatsApp group, like I remember when we were on our fertility journey, I found it tough because, like we spoke about on TV, social media, it's just rammed in your face, even in the supermarkets. And I know I'd struggle, like, but like I'm in a better place now. Like we've stopped our fertility treatment. We got the dog. The dog's our little boy. Like, so it's all good. Like, do you know what I mean? But I can see, like I spoke about it. Other guys do suffer, and this is what today's about. I wanted to come on and just share our stories and speak up and let guys know, like, it's not alone. You're not alone, basically, and it is support.
This is it, 100%. Did you get a card from the dog?
I had 18 cans of lager as well.
Oh, fair play. Knows what you like, yeah?
Who knew dogs had money like that?
Winner, you carry all of those back, yeah. Fair play. Yeah, I got a little card from the cat as well, who's obviously quite raised him since a kid.
Would have thought it, huh? Oh, here he is.
Oh, there we go. A medal around the neck. Oi, oi.
Oh, look at this.
Well done, Ladley.
Thanks, lads.
How's it going, buddy? How's it going tonight?
Yeah, 2 seconds. The camera's covered in shit. 2 seconds.
Never a dull moment with Mr. Lanley.
2 seconds. It's all covered in... Oh.
Want to see that face, Gareth? There we go. That's better.
Yeah, I'm just in the door.
Just checking in with Frank. Same new, mate. How are you doing today on Father's Day? All good?
Good, man. Good. Oh, look, everyone can see my medal. I'm so subtle about it.
Beautiful.
I'm just thinking, okay, a sec. Oh. You see that?
Yeah.
Tell us what you've been doing today, bud, because they're thinking, what the fuck is he on about?
I think you've won a horse race with that medal.
Yeah, God, I just went. Well, the run was 10:30, and away we went, and it was really, really hot. Like really hot. Like, well, you know yourself, lads. Anything over 15 degrees centigrade is like roasting. And it was about 18 or 19, and you just noticed the way everyone was running. That the whole flock, as such, stretched out. We're just all slowing down. There's no breeze. So, so
what was you doing the event for, mate?
I was doing it for, so it's probably can see everyone see that. So I'm an advocate for this non-profit based in the States. I'm a European advocate. So and I was running along, and in fact, I know everyone isn't on our WhatsApp, which is pretty good, but I met this really lovely woman, and I was running along, and I was telling her about XXY, and she says, oh, so what do you do? And she said she was a secondary school teacher, and then I said, well, I'm a stay-at-home dad, but I'm also an advocate for raising awareness of male infertility. And then I actually have it written down here. Whenever I talk to people, like in groups, I always notice that other people start to go really quiet, and they're all listening in because no one talks about male infertility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a big group, we're all running along, and all people are chatting about fuck knows what. And then they all went really quiet, because I'm always aware of that. And we were having this conversation for like 3 or 4 kilometers. And she was asking about it. She goes, oh my God, why doesn't anyone know about this? And then she said, would you be open to come to talk to school with us?
Quality.
So it was like, and that only happened by pure fluke, because she saw the t-shirt and she said, what are you doing? So.
That's amazing, Gareth. Well done. You were just talking to me on Friday about trying to find different groups to speak to as well. And then it's all of a sudden falling on your lap, as it were. Fair play.
My running lap.
Yeah, right, the old running lap, yeah.
Yeah, so it was great. So, yeah, I already decided on Wednesday I was doing it.
Which is mad for a half marathon. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
You do like your bike, don't you?
Do you know I like cycling? I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, big change guys from Wednesday. Like, how did that come about then? Just seen it and then you just applied for it, or?
Yeah, it's a local run, so it's really well organised.
Yeah.
So I've been sending videos to Frank about the area that we live in. So people watching this, if they've ever seen Braveheart, as you know, a really historically accurate movie, well, 90% of that was shot in Ireland. So like
when Gareth says he's
the Irish as well, because they played both the English Irish and the Scots. So.
When Gareth said says he sent a video. He sent one video and I replied with like, "This is great, mate." And then all of a sudden that opened up the floodgates, and then there were like 10 or 15 follow-ons. Just I couldn't keep up. I just absolutely loved it, didn't you, Gareth? Do you know what though? I actually made one. I went on Saturday. I had no plans. I went on a big shop to Sainsbury's, and this is like my life at the minute. That was a bit of excitement for me. So I filmed the whole thing, which I won't share because it's obviously a point in filming Sainsbury's. But no, fair play to you, Gareth. I mean, I think I reflected again on our last call. Like, I'm new to all of this chatting and stuff like that, and I still need to get into a place where I just talk about it, you know, willy-nilly, for want of a better phrase. but I want to get to that point, because ultimately, like, well, I was actually in was I going to say anything? There's a new TV show that's coming out. I won't say which one, but I've auditioned, and in part of the audition, because they say, like, you know, say something interesting about yourself or whatever. So I just shared some of the blogs and stuff and this kind of video or whatever, and I'd shared a couple of other things and it got a bit of a reaction. But when I talked about male infertility and said, you know, I've been writing some blogs about my journey, blah, 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 no one really knew what to say or how to react. And then it all kind of moved on. So I guess it's just trying to engage with, you know, continue trying to engage with different people and talk about it to different people and stuff. But fair play to you for doing it while you're on your run. I mean, I can't imagine running half marathon after only signing up on Wednesday, and then not only that, chatting for 4 kilometers as well.
I know. Well, I went for a run last Sunday, and I did 17k, and I went, yeah, I'm fit enough to do it because I'm doing my cycling. And then I ran it in. I think I sent it to you guys. My shoes I have. Well, I get them and show people. They're just there. I get them.
He's not.
Still on Gareth's check-in, yeah?
I'm here. I'm back. Look. So just for pure crack, they're my running shoes.
Very good.
So
nice, but nice.
1.5 mil, and they're like a pair of socks, so you can see all the toes. And
put them on and give us a little wiggle then. Go on.
I have to say that for the next video.
Start him off. He's a boy, yeah. Hey,
go ahead.
I want to touch on like Father's Day, like going through your fertility, going back and that. Was it a big thing for you, Father's Day? Did you struggle in that on this day, like, or no, it weren't an issue?
It's not an issue for me because I didn't grow up in a household that had Father's Day or Mother's Day or whatever day. Not been flippant, like, you know, it's just, it wasn't something I grew up with.
Yeah.
But I understand, and I was happy to jump on to do this with you guys today because for some people it's really important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. I don't really have anything to elaborate because it's not something I really grew up with, like. But
Frank, you can relate that as well, Frank, on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I say, it's just this. I don't know. At the moment, again, in my position or whatever, I think often about the kind of role of a father, but just well aware of like beta twin dad for me is just about kind of not wanting to be the alpha male, like being aware of other people's situations. So just with anything, there's always a balance, isn't there? Like I get that people want to be able to celebrate, and especially that people might have had difficulties and challenges to get there as well. We know, and so it's good. Like it should be something that's celebrated, but also there's just so many other people for, you know, different reasons that go through kind of and this is a really, really tough day. So I feel like you can't really be ramming anything down anybody's throats or whatnot. This is just a day that, as I say, my thing again is the kind of all the marketing piece or whatever. Like you say, you know, if people are struggling with this, you can't go anywhere without hearing about it from days before. And so I kind of, I know friends that are trying to conceive at the moment, friends that have suffered with baby loss and everything like that. And it's just people that have lost their dad as well. Like it's just a tough day for everybody, but yeah.
anything can trigger you off. Like I was looking on Facebook earlier, and the amount of like thing on the news feed of like Happy Father's Day and posting, and I done a post as well. But I remember years ago, it's me seeing that on my fertility journey. It did trigger me off, and it was tough. Like I'd have to come off social media, etc. And I know there's other guys out there who feel the same. But like I said, I'm in a better place today. I did actually wake up today, and I warned myself. I don't know what it is. I'm starting a new job next week. I don't know if I'm thinking about that too much. But
Okay.
like I said, I got coping mechanisms in place now. And like I posted earlier, I went for a run, a 4 mile run, about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I think. Come home, had a little bit to eat. I went to the gym about 12 then. But I just, like I said on my Insta earlier, just keeping yourself busy, I think, boys. Because once you sit down and have 5 minutes, especially on today, I find your mind can play tricks on you. Like,
Yeah. Double session today, a run and a gym session. You've only managed the run, have you, Gareth? Is that it?
I might as well just not bother any longer. Like.
No, fair play. No, that's it. And well, this is the thing, because like you say, that's a big change going into a new job.
yeah,
Obviously, that's my side of mental health, is supporting people to get into work, and it can be a big thing going in, and that can trigger other things, like you say. So it might well be that you're feeling about going into a new environment, and that can have a knock-on effect with confidence, all the rest of it, and then that, when you're feeling not as confident as normal, will start to tell you other things that you shouldn't be confident about, and all the rest of it. So mental health works. Fair play for getting out, getting on a run, and getting in the gym. I'm actually going to go for a little run, 3 miles or something this afternoon, I think. Try it.
Good lad.
So I don't even bother with that.
Yeah, like saying with a new job and it's for me, it's like starting over again in a sense, because people will see stuff on social media and then they'll ask questions about and do you know what I mean? Is that topic of children again? Like if we've got any kids, and then it can trigger stuff again. But like I said, I'm in a better place now. But it's like kind of like starting over again. It's kind of weird feeling like.
Yeah, definitely.
There's actually just popped into my head there. Like I don't know if you guys, I know you used to know this. I used to be a wedding videographer. So that sounds like so many people here, they always, that's a glamorous, sexy job. And it's like, it's not, it's really stressful. And then you're having to work with the different family dynamics, the hate, people's expectations. Yeah, it sounds really glamorous when you hear that. But always the thing that was really hard for me, I know it kind of tied in with the Father's Day, would be, so in Ireland, I used to shoot primarily Catholic weddings, which have a running time of about 52 minutes. Quite precise because I shot so many of them. But when the couple were doing like the little exchange of the rings, the priest would always say, when God sent you children. And it was just this assumption, that everyone can have children. And that used to really hurt me. I know we kind of then just focus on your job, Gareth. Just think of the framing, look at the audio levels, the exposure, stuff that I didn't really need to monitor, but I would focus on that to distract my brain, because I always found that really difficult.
Yeah.
In particular, like, so thought I mentioned that. I'm not sure if that really ties into Father's Day, but it's my closest.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for being honest, mate. That's what it's about. This is what the talk is about, and opening up. And thanks for sharing that, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. I've made some notes here. I actually managed to make some notes in like 2 minutes before I jumped on, actually. So as you know, I'm pretty open about this. So when I was talking to that woman there today, she was really sound, just like floating along, and everyone else was really quiet. And I was thinking I have an eidetic memory, which is a form of a photographic memory, and the way my brain stores information. And she's saying, "Oh, do you think, would you be open to coming in to talk to myself and the students about it?" And I actually said, "Well, I'd much rather speak to you and maybe parents and teachers, because I understand everyone knows going through puberty, especially in school, it's really difficult." She works in an all boys school, and I was saying it'd be better if I could speak to teachers and potentially parents at the same time, or whatever, because of the traits of being XXY. But like that conversation happened because, as I was saying, I was wearing my t-shirt and it's just being so open. But I find that so the place up the road, I get my hair cut in, and the lads who cut my hair, they all know my story, because everyone kind of, oh, there's Gareth, and anyway. But but I was in there one day getting my hair cut, and this guy.
You want to sack him?
Get rid of Gareth. Oh Christ, he would have cut Gareth's hair. He'd be here for 2 hours. Like, but what I find the really interesting thing about being so open about this is, so I'm 43. That woman there I was talking to you today, she said she was 24. So there's this massive 20 years or something between us. But because no one speaks about male fertility, it didn't matter that I was 20 years older than her, because she had loads of questions, because she said, I don't know anyone who talks about this, which is really important. But when I was in getting my hair cut, so this guy, he was asking me about it, going, oh, how's your brain work? And then there was a guy to my right who was getting his hair cut, and they're talking about footy or something like that. But I noticed that the conversation started getting less and less, and then they just stopped. And they just were listening to our conversation, which is brilliant. Like, I was well aware that what was happening. But the guy was like cutting your man's hair, and you could hear the ears weren't moving, but you just knew they were focused on what we were saying in our conversation. And like, one of the things that came up, the guy was cutting my hair, and he said, so Gareth, like, I have a question for you. He said, fire ahead, man, no problem. He said, when you, like, you know, when you're having sex, like, as a guy who doesn't have sperm, is your sperm like a different color? And then I said, well, is it clear? He said to me, because you don't have sperm. I said, well, no, that's a protein in your ejaculate. That's why it's that color. But because no one speaks about it, he felt kind of stupid. He goes, oh, that's probably a really hurtful comment to make. I said, but it's not, because you don't know, and no one talks about it. And we had a great chat, and he was like what, 20 or 21, like, so he's like similar age to that woman. And this is what I find about being so open about it, is that you can catch people through all the different ages. It just cuts through ages. It doesn't matter.
You know what I found fascinating? Well, or what I was thinking about, Gareth, because you were talking about on Friday, trying to figure out whether, like, the Prince's Trust. I used to work for the Prince's Trust, and Gareth was wondering whether or not they would be interested in having these kind of fertility talks or whatnot. And I remember on one of the weeks I used to deliver a team program, so they're 16 to 25-year-olds, and we would get somebody in, and it would be around sexual health, but all the focus would be on, you've got to wear a condom to stop the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. And you could name all of the STDs that you could pick up as a 16 to 25-year-old, but no one would talk about anything in terms of infertility or any issues with fertility. And those are the kind of questions that, again, it wasn't until going through this 2-3 years ago that then I started to understand anymore. And you wonder whether, because if, you know, the school playground or whatever was a hotspot for throwing banter at each other, you know, the old, like, you firing blanks and all of that, mate. And I don't think they wouldn't actually know what it meant. So whether it would be a negative to arm them with more resources to take the piss out of all the lads and their mates with, but it's got to be a good thing, because ultimately, again, it's just breaking that stigma. It's not a taboo subject, and you think
it's normalizing it.
Yeah, all the lads in school, if you had 100 kids in the school year, then you can guarantee that there's going to try to work out, what is that? If you had 20, so, like, you know, 5-10 people in that year are going to suffer with infertility issues as they get older. If I've worked out quick maths percentage wise as in that moment. But yeah, so it was an interesting thing. It would be good to talk about this younger, because ultimately this is going to have an impact on people's mental health as they grow older, because they won't know enough about it. They won't have enough information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's actually research going on at the moment to show, so you guys know I have this, so for people who are joining us for the first time, I have an extra X chromosome in my genetic makeup. And what I have is the most common underdiagnosed genetic condition in the world to affect males. But there's research that's coming out now that shows that basically when certain XXY people hit puberty, because it's a spectrum, so just mention that as well, this is not all people, is that when guys are in puberty, when they're XXY, if they can do a micro-TZ, which is taking sperm extraction from them, but when the guys go over 25, it nosedives. It drops their chances of actually having sperm. So this is why it's so important that teenagers are aware of this, because they're going through puberty and they come at the other end, and then they learn. But that's too late then, you know. So
education is the one in everybody's in the schools now. Getting something into the schools, like it touched on. There's been studies in it about saunas and riding bikes and computers on a little thing like this. Yeah, little things like that, which we didn't know when we were younger, like, do you know what I mean? Which could help you, like, but yeah, a lot needs to be done in the schools, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Sort it out, guys.
Yeah, just list. Let me just add it all to page 2,500 here.
You do a
One school teacher at a time.
a bike tour around the schools, like.
Yeah.
I could cycle around Ireland and then to the UK for the full.
Are there any different resources or stuff like that anybody's got that they can recommend? Kev, you were saying, well, you've got a couple of...
Yeah, I bought 2 books. I got a few books, but there's 2 that stands out for me. It didn't help me on my fertility journey, but I'd read them after my journey. Swimming Aimlessly by John Waldman. I don't know if you want to see this.
All right.
So one man's journey.
Kevin, for that.
Yeah.
One man's journey through infertility and what we can learn from it is a great read, boys. That was one I've touched on.
Amazing.
And another one is the IVF Dad. I don't know if you've seen this, guys, or people watching.
Where that book?
Keegan E. Prue. Yes, does another story, what I learned on my infertility journey and how it can help you. They're both similar, boys, both journeys by guys, and there's plenty more books out there and resources now. And I read them now, even though I've done my fertility journey and etc. But it's still like education is key, boys, and do you know what I mean? So yeah, just reading more, getting it out there, and letting new guys know out there who's watching this now that there is resources out there.
Well, I find it's funny. Well, not funny, but it's obviously you saying, Kev, that you're kind of gone through your journey, but you're still reading them. But I think for me, and only speaking personally, but it's something that is still processing today. Like, again, it's that thing where things will trigger a kind of thought or feeling or whatever. And so it's, again, I guess it's just learning about somebody else and learning anything in terms of how someone else overcame or felt different, or, you know, something that they did to make themselves feel better. And that's all a good learning in terms of well-being, because it's trauma effectively, isn't it? So it's kind of processing that trauma and living with it. But yeah, sharing and understanding other people's experiences can only be a good thing, a positive. I mean, for me, and I this was a funny cyclical moment that I text you, I think, Kev, but I mean, once I did the comedy thing, I watched Rod Gilbert's documentary on his fertility journey, which I think is on the BBC still, but it's not YouTube. And when I watched that, I followed up on the kind of him fertility stuff and found another episode or something. I can't remember the way it went round, but I then came back to a podcast that you had appeared on Spotify, and it was something that I'd already played and listened to. And it's when we were already chatting. So I was like, at some point or another, I'd heard you tell me to go and listen or watch this and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was this cyclical moment. But that, for me, was really eye-opening watching Rod Gilbert, because, again, it's that the level of people that he was talking to, I thought was really empowering, because he had big kind of stage presence. He's obviously a big, well-known comedian, and men were opening up to him because of his status, essentially. And so I found that really interesting. That one would definitely recommend if anybody hasn't watched it.
Well, I was actually thinking something when you said there about Kev. So before I did my first interview with you, Kev, you had a little video up on your man cave, and you looking straight at the camera and they're recording, and it's really powerful. I find it really difficult to watch because I get upset because what you did in the video. So you're kind of looking at the camera, and you have a hoodie in your head, and you have a recording over it going about how difficult it is for men to speak about that.
Yeah.
And when you did that, I got really upset, and I watched it a few times because you're talking about the trauma that we go through, so many guys through, that don't talk about it. And that was one of the reasons I reached out to ask you, could we do an interview? And I were such good pals, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just like, you're such a great guy and you're such a good advocate, and we all help bounce off each other with ideas and stuff, you know. I just wanted to say that. Right. I know we piss around a bit, like, but you know.
Ditto. But I actually text you, Kev. I text you to say the exact same thing, to say how empowering it was or whatever. I can't remember your reply, but it was very much like, "Oh, fuck off, mate," or something like that. Like, trying to give you your props, but yeah.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, like I said, these conversations, boys, are just crucial, and like might not have many people watching today or next week or next month, but I know they're on Instagram now, and people will go back and watch them. And do you know what I mean? My sharing my stories affected you, Frank, and Gar, same with you as well. And your stories will affect other people, and it'll be a knock-on effect. But like I said, it's getting something in these schools, I think, boys, that could make a massive difference. Gar, maybe we can go to the government. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, I'll just roll in there. Here, Micheál, Leo, give us some cash. Yeah. So, but actually, well, the other news I do have, you guys are aware of this. My TED Talk came out last week. So,
what's the feedback been like, mate? Any feedback off anyone?
Well, it hit 1,000 views in its first week, which I take as good. Yeah. And what I learned is I'm the first. I believe I'm the first, knowing I'm XXY person, to do a TED Talk that focuses on XXY.
Well done,
because it's amazing, because like I can't believe no one else has done one yet. And so it's called, people are looking for it. They put in TED Talk Gareth Landy into YouTube, they'll find the video. It only went up last week, and it's called Chromosomally Speaking, X-Men Exist. So, yeah. So
I did like that little X-Men reference in there. Gotta admit, that tickled me. But it was very good. The rest of it was absolutely amazing, mate. Yeah. Well done. It was just really, really
power.
What's the word that I'm looking for? Like concise, but really just empowering, powerful stuff.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, because I did it all from memory, by the way. It's all from memory. Yeah. There's no auto cue or anything there, because people were saying to me, I can't see the auto cue screen. Where is it, Gareth? Going, well, there fucking wasn't one. Like, so, like, why did you think there's an auto cue?
I'd love to do one, but that.
Huh?
I'd love to do one, but my memory's terrible. But I'd be like, fucking, what am I doing?
Some TED Talks do have auto cues. That's the thing. Because then I looked online and I saw the ones where you could see them on the screen and stuff like that. But yeah, there was someone I was going to say there. I've gone off. It'll come back to me anyway. Go ahead. Sorry, it's just I had something in there. It's disappeared. Ran away.
I'm all done, boys. Do you want to touch on anything else, or are you all good?
I'm pretty good, man.
Good, happy day. Well, thanks to everyone joining tonight, or this evening, or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, thanks, guys. We'll catch up next month now, and we'll share more stories.
Cool.
Amazing.
Cheers, lads.
Good to see you. Take care.
Bye.